welcome. Hope you can hear me. Welcome, Jana. Glad you could join us. And we've got Kraftin Kimmie Stamps. Hello. So I've got everything laid out here that I have on my desk, and I'm just going to go to the desk scene. And actually, there we go. Hopefully you can hear me. I did not hear my intro music. I don't know if you guys did or not, but anyway. So what we're doing today is we have got the Once Upon a Time Little Red Riding Hood set. This is a crafty throwback from You Have No Sound. Let me see. Jana, have you got it? You've got sound now? Okay, sorry. I thought maybe it was on my end or whatever. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a couple of cards for the Once Upon a Lifetime Red Riding Hood crafty throwback from Kraftin Kimmie. And what I have, let me just find my stamp set. What'd I do with it? Eek. I was working with it earlier. Anyway, I've taken our stamp set, which I need to find. What in the world? Stuck it in my drawer. And I have already stamped out Little Red Riding Hood, and I used too many things going on, not enough coffee in you yet, Kimmy? Well, I know how that goes. I have got a cup of coffee right here, and it's probably my fourth one, but I get up at the crack of dawn and I just drink coffee all day. And I missed Heather's live because I was making some breakfast. Oh, you did hear my intro music. Good. Thank you. I was making some breakfast for Pat and I because I knew that this live would run into our eat time. So I made some pancakes and sausage. But I did see Heather's playback, and she did, her coloring is just so lovely. And she did a fun fold, and it was super cute. So now I've got a little different setup here. So anyway, let me show you the stamp set real quick. And it's I've used the Wicked Black to stamp these, and so you can see they're pretty dark. And I tried to find my Robin Hood card this morning, but couldn't lay hands on it. And I also did a Snow White. But today I'm doing Little Red Riding Hood, and you've got Whistle While You Work. You're right on target, which is what I used for the Robin Hood. Golly, what a day. You're just right, and you're the fairest of them all. Super cute. But I've taken and stamped and heat embossed. I just used this clear embossing powder, which I am just about out of, and then did some coloring on it. Good morning, Melissa. Hey, Patty, welcome. You just popping in, then you got to get crafty. Yep. So I did some heat embossing for the coloring. It helps me. It's a good beginner trick to heat emboss your image. It helps you to stay in the lines better, and it just works out better for that. So that's what I did there. And I went ahead and did the same thing, heat embossed, stamped and heat embossed another one so we could do some coloring. But my pattern papers that I received, and I've got 3 inks here, Crisp Crimson, Magical Midnight, and then the Wicked Black. And I'm not sure what all we're going to use. I, unlike Heather, was unable to make a a card in advance so that I could show you what we're going to make and then make, because my papers are basically seams. I've got this, I like this pattern on the back here, and I'm going to take off about 1 inch of it so I can use some of it. But I've kind of got a seam going on here. The cardstock you picked is a perfect match for the pattern paper. Well, thank you. So we've got the Big Bad Wolf here, and we've just got a scene. And so I wanted to just create a scene. I'm going to do 2 scene cards, and we are going to do slimline cards because my scene just fits for a slimline card. And for that, you can mail a slimline card in just a regular legal envelope. And so I had a ton of these, so no big deal. Just, grab your legal envelope and you can mail them in that. So we're going to do one scene with the Big Bad Wolf on there, and then we're going to do another card with our Little Red Riding Hood. And I first thought we would color them exactly the same, but I'm going to try and color the Little Red Riding Hood more similar to what is shown here in the pattern paper. So we'll have a black dress instead of the red dress. When I colored this one, I just Googled Little Red Riding Hood and pulled up some images and just colored her that way. So that's what we're going to do. So let's get started. I think we'll do things kind of in kind of along the same lines. So I've got some sheets that I'll upload, kind of detailing what we did with it, but that we'll put in the, and I need to run this across here, we'll put it in the Kraftin Kimmie Stamps Crafty Friends Facebook page. We'll put it in there so that you'll have that afterward. I wasn't sure exactly what all I do since I did not make my card in advance. So I don't have all of the details, so I'll have to update it. So I've got my big scoring board because we are going to score. But I need to take, this is just a regular 8.5 by 11 inch paper. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut it down to 8.5 by 7. So I'm basically going to take 3 inches off this green to create my card base. So I'm just showing you what I did there. I just started with 8.5 by 11. We'll take 3 inches off the green, and then we'll have another 8.5 by 7, and then we're going to score it at 3 inches, and then that will give us our slim line. If I done, did I measure that right? I don't think I did. What'd they do? 8. Oh, I don't know what I did, but I need to take another inch off of there. Maybe you guys saw what I did, but, and if we don't get it right, we have more paper. Okay, so hopefully that's right. So what have we got? Yes, we have 8.5 by 7. So these two should match. Good, they do. All right. So now we'll just bring in our big scoring board here. I've got my little tool on the bottom, and we're just going to score these at 3.5 if I can get a hold of them. And then that will create our slim line. 7, 3.5. So we're just going to go there and create our slimline card. And I know this is very basic, but we're just gonna start from the beginning and work our way to it. So there we go. So now we've got our slimline card, and it should fit our envelope nicely. So that'll work out quite well. And then we'll just create another one. So there we go. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Got to get back to that. See, it looks like we're getting a good crowd. Janice says she loves slimline cards, and so does Kimmy. Good. I don't make them very often. Oh yeah, the scrolling graphics. I thought that was kind of a last minute add-on. I thought, oh, I need to add that. So I thought I'd throw that up there just so they would know the Facebook group for this. So we can get this big old board out of the way. It was kind of nice to have this for a tray to have all my little parts on it when I was preparing. I just kind of got everything on there and lined up. So we're going to start with, let's go ahead, and we've got the coloring done for that. I think I was going in this direction with that. I'm going to have to cut this down. All right, let's just go and process a card. So let's go ahead and just get this one cut down. And so we've got a 3.5 inch border there, but this is not quite long enough. This piece that I got was 8 inches, and I really would have needed like 8.25. So I'm going to have to take, if I wanted, just that. So it's 8 inches. So I know that I want, and this is 3.5. So wait a minute, let me look at my notes. Okay. Yeah, I want to do 3 by 8. Just want to make sure I'm getting that right. And I wanted to cut off this side because I don't want to lose any of my wolf or my wolf's tail. So I'm going to cut this down. I guess it's early in the morning for me as well. So that'll take 1/2 inch. I'll have 1/2 inch. I was just double checking myself. So what we've got here is this, and this is pretty simple. This is very simple. But for this, we're going to have this extra scrap that we're going to use for something else. But for this, I felt like this scene was, good morning, Sherry. Welcome. I thought this scene was kind of light for the big bad wolf. It just seemed like it needed to be a little bit darker, a little bit more majestic since we've got the big bad wolf scene. And so I thought what we would do is just do a little blending on here. Melissa, at 7:09 a.m. That is early for you. Yeah, very early. So I thought we would just take some of our inks and do a little bit of blending on here. And I didn't bring in a scrap piece of paper, so let me grab something I can. I'll tell you what. Let's just bring this in and we'll just use it. It's kind of dirty anyway. And we'll just blend on it. It'll be, I think we should blend on the other side. It's a little bit cleaner. Okay, so I just thought we'd kind of darken this up and make it a little bit more mysterious. Like I said, this is a pretty simple card, but I wanted to work with, you know, what I have as far as the scenes. And I'm bringing in some paper here that I'm going to tap off. So, Sherry, welcome, Sherry. If I don't know if I'm repeating myself or not, so forgive me if I am. It's early and I'm not sure. Not my short-term memory is not that great. So I just wanted to darken this up a little bit. And I thought the midnight, I thought about using the black, and then I thought it might be a little bit too dark. So we might just do some of the blue and then maybe add some black into it to just kind of darken it up. But I just felt like the scene was a little bit too light for kind of the scary big bad wolf. So I thought we would just bring in a little bit of ink, and it's not going to be too fancy, but that's what I thought we would do. And I'll tell you, Heather is a fantastic colorist. I don't have that skill level, and I'll do the best I can, but she just really could color very beautifully. So words are hard. They're incredibly hard, especially early in the morning. Just trying to darken this up, not get too crazy. Just make it look a little bit more mysterious. And I mean, you could leave it if you have this this set and this is not your jam. I mean, you can just leave it as is, but I just thought it would be fun to kind of make it a little scarier. Because that big bad wolf, you know, he's out to get Little Red Riding Hood. Try not to get like big blobs on there. That's why I'm wanting to get it darker, but not have any big blobs. Okay, so that made it a little bit darker. And then I think, did I bring in the black brush? Yes, I did. For black, I actually ought to get, let's see if I have a black dauber, a sponge dauber. It might look better. We'll go with it. We'll just go with it. And maybe make it a little bit even darker just around the edges. I don't know if that's the right brush to be using for it, but we can make do. Just kind of darken the scene up a little bit. I was, thinking, working with a scene, I was like, well, what else can I do to it? And I thought, well, you could also, another idea is you could have torn it. And of course you might have a bigger piece than I do. We just got sent, a portion of it to work with, but you could tear it and kind of make it more of a, rugged looking card or whatever. But I thought I'd just bring in some of the darker ink, be able to use some of Kraftin Kimmie's inks on it and just darken it up a little bit. That's what I was thinking. I think we're getting there. More of a nighttime looking scene or whatever. Okay. I think we've got that. All right. So then we would just lay this down. Now we could layer. In fact, that's probably what I'll do. I should bring in and that way we don't have quite a large border around there. So I'll bring in another layer and we'll lay that down on there. Like I said, I didn't have the advantage of making it ahead of time. Well, thank you, Jana. I appreciate you, complimenting on the coloring. Jana is also a very good colorist. I'm grabbing some of my cardstock and bringing it over here. I didn't think to do that. So what I want to do, I think I'm going to just use a black. And we made that one 3 by 8. So let's make this one 3 1/4. Take off a 1/2 inch. I think I can do that here. Not the right cutter for that, but cut it wrong? What did I do? Oh my goodness, I'm having a morning. Let me go over here and cut it on one that actually has the measurements real quick. 1/4. 3. I got it. Yikes. All right. There we go. Now we've got a layer that we can layer it up and kind of just have that red peeking out behind there. So I think that's what we're going to do. Let's see. I need more coffee. I do. Flying by the seat of the pants is that's Kimmie, that's my jam. I know a lot of card makers that are on YouTube do make theirs in advance and stuff. I generally don't, so I should be just fine with this situation because I generally don't. I open the product, I'm like, ooh, let's work with it. And then I go live and whatever happens, happens. And sometimes of course, this is supposed to be a class, but sometimes the gallery will say, oh, do this or do that, and it will really help. But anyway, I just thought this would be pretty simple because we've got the scene. And so get it laid down on there. And there we go. Just get it layered up. And I like it darker like that. I think it kind of gives it a little bit more interest. Yeah, seat of the pants is the best way to fly. Well, that's my jam, so that's where we're going. All right, then this image should not be too difficult to fussy cut, so we'll just go ahead and fussy cut it out. We may have to blend around it. If I kind of leave a little white edge, we might do some blending around it and just kind of darken it up a little bit too. And we'll just see how it goes. So we'll just fussy cut this out. This might be a longer video because I'm going to actually ink up another, stamp or color up another Little Red Riding Hood, and then we'll have to fussy cut her out too. I probably should have maybe fussy cut this one out in advance. But I didn't think of that. I thought I was in pretty good shape, but I'm kind of a speedy crafter, so maybe I'll be able to get it done in a reasonable amount of time. We're 17 minutes in, and I've already... Hey, Irma, welcome from sunny California. Well, I am in, proud to say, sunny Indiana today. Yesterday, we had a little bit of rain and a little bit cooler, and today the sun is shining. I'm not sure. I think it's supposed to heat up as the day goes on. But we've had some lovely weather. It's been awesome. I've been spending a lot of time outside, and I keep my grandsons during the week, and I've had them outside as well. So it's been a lot of fun. And I'm so happy that the weather has changed. Oh, close there on that one, but I'm going to blend it so it won't matter. Anyway, so these are fairly easy to fussy cut, even for people that don't enjoy fussy cutting or think they're not good at it. You can definitely do these because they've got some really good straight lines on there. It's not real busy. And I don't know, I think we're getting at it pretty quickly. So yeah, we actually have, I got up and got cleaned up and everything, and I just put my sweats and my sweatshirt on because we're actually going out to dinner tonight with friends and to a concert. We are going to see this. I'm going to age myself here. We're going to go see Night Ranger. So that's where we're going tonight. My husband and our friends, my friend's husband, they have been buying all these different tickets for these concerts, these older ones. And so we've got these concerts scheduled that we're going to be going to, and tonight we're doing that. So, oh, you love Night Ranger? Irma's watching us from her grandson's baseball game, and it's raining. Oh, bummer. Are they winning? Hopefully they're winning. Yeah, it's a bummer. Pat, I know I've told you guys before, he officiates track, and last week he was 2 days was out in the cold rain, and it was not good. I can do rain and I can do cold, but I don't like to do them together, that's for sure. So hopefully it's not cold there. Oh, you're older? I think you're younger than me. I think you're younger than me, Jana. I think we figured that out, like maybe a year. I don't know. So anyway, I think I got her fussy cut out. I'd like to get those ponytails cut out, but I think I'm just going to add some this darker ink and just kind of tone it down a little bit, maybe. Maybe we need some blue because we're going to be on the blue. I don't know how much blue I've got in here. Try to go around that edge there. If you kind of go with the color of your background, it'll just kind of blend into the background. See how it kind of blends, the blue around the ponytails kind of blend right into that. So you can do that. I'm just going to take the blue all the way around there. Okay, we've got that. So we've got a cute little scene. So she doesn't even know that he's behind her. I should have showed you also, in addition to the paper and the stamp set, we also have some washi too that I'm going to use. Maybe on the inside of the card or something like that. But I just think this is a cute little scene card. And I was thinking of putting her up here that she doesn't know that he's sneaking up on her. Just to do it like that. So we'll just bring in some foam tape and we'll get her popped up. And like I said, this is a pretty simple one. I could have done like a fun folder. So I actually thought about maybe you could make like a fun fold with this and actually have her there and not there. But that was an afterthought, and I already had everything prepared and it was like a few minutes before going live, and I was like, oh, too late for that. So, but just to share some ideas of some different things that you can do. So a slimline card is 3.5 by 8.5. Of course, you're going to cut it at 7, just so I don't know if I said that or not. So I wanted to put that out there and say that. But anyway, I think it's cute little card. Now I had Golly What a Day stamped, and I also stamped somewhere. Oh, where it went. Let me get this out of the way. I stamped some of the other sentiments as well. I think they're on the back of my, and I have You're Just Right and Whistle While You Work. I used the You're Right on Target with the Robin Hood, and then I used the You're the Fairest of Them All with Snow White, because that's what the mirror always said to her. So anyway, but I thought we'd use this Golly What a Day, and we'll just kind of cut it down. It might be fun to use we've got kind of a space here. It might be fun to use like some circle dies or something to create a little. Let me get some nested dies and figure out what I want to use a nested die and add a little bit more interest to this. So let me just look and see what I want to use. I think I'm just going to use, I think this will work. I'm going to measure it, see if it'll work. And we'll just, I got that. We're going to do it on this one, the one that I haven't colored on. And we'll just do this, and it'll add a little bit more interest, because this is a scallop die that I have here. And you can use any die that you have. You shared me to the friend page. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. So I need to get my tape. I've got some washi tape that I'll use, and I'll just tape it down. Then we'll just bring in my little scalp. So we're not even a half an hour in, and we've about got this card done. So I think we'll be fine as far as making 2 cards and not taking too long. I'm trying to get my washi tape to where I have a full piece. I don't know if this is just really cheap washi tape I've got here or what, but, and I don't want to use my Robin or my Little Red Riding Hood. Why do I keep saying Robin Hood for it? Because I want to use that on my cards. So let's see if we get this on. Oh, well, here's my pink tape right there. I was looking for it and couldn't find it. We'll just use it. We'll just take this down. And I'm going to cut this away. So think about your scene, your scene paper. A lot of times, you might kind of be turned off by it and maybe just use the red on the back of it and not do anything with the scenes. But really think about your scene cards, because you could even, I could have even cut this down and made it an A2 size card because it originally was 4 inches. So I could have cut it down, to 5 1/4 and used it on an A2 size card. But I wanted to I didn't want to lose any of the flowers or any of the leaves or anything like that. So that's why I opted for the slimline card. It just seemed like a good fit for it. But you can do lots of things. But a lot of times we'll get some of those seam patterns and we're like, what am I going to do with this, especially at this size? Just kind of think about the different sizes of cards and how you can utilize it. And I think that's, a really good idea for those types of things, because, a lot of times you'll get those 12 by 12s, in the kind of in the scrapbooking type, and yet you might just be a card maker. You can certainly, kind of, take that paper and kind of create a frame around it and say, what will this look like? I do that a lot with 12 by 12 paper. And you could actually just take one of your, dies and kind of go, okay, well, that could be a scene right there, or you could have done it that way. But I wanted to keep the full scene with this, so that's why I went in that direction. So, and I think I'm going to bring in, I've got some of this green from the other card, so I'm going to bring it in, and I'm just going to create another. Oh, and I've got tape on there. That pink tape got on there. Hopefully we'll get it pulled off. Man, I'm having a day. All right, we'll just use our tool here, and that stuff's supposed to be removable tape, but sometimes it can be fussy. Oh, all right, there we go. So for this next piece, I don't have to worry about lining it up as much because it's a sentiment. It's a sentiment, and this one isn't. I need a bigger piece now. Good heavens to Murgatroyd. I guess I'm not a morning person. I usually go live at night. Well, actually, with Daria, I go live on Monday mornings at 10 a.m., but evidently Saturday morning is more my day to sleep in, and it takes me a while to get going. 8 by 8 is a great size. Hey, Linda, welcome. Looks like we've got a pretty good crowd coming in. So we could do something like this with it, and that would add some more interest. I don't know if it's too big or not. We'll kind of play around with it. And yeah, that is kind of big. Ugh, what do I want to do? Well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this off, and we're going to make it smaller. Heather, she had the advantage of having already made her card. So I think hers went a little bit more smoothly than mine's going. All right, and then we'll actually bring in our blue. It's just too stark to lay on that, I think. I think that's better suited for it, that size. We've got a little bit of stitched edging on there. Now, do we want to go ahead and layer it up on here? I'm just going to try this out. Let me clean this up. We're going to move on to our next card soon. And I could make my life easier because I do have a trimmer here that will probably trim it much nicer. That down. There we go. Okay. And then maybe leave some of the scalloped edge on there. Nope, I don't like that either. So what's going on? Oh, thanks, Linda. I appreciate the vote of confidence because I'm on the struggle bus this morning. So some mornings are better than others. Today's just not one of them. So we'll get this sentiment laid down on there. And I was thinking about, earlier I was thinking about actually splattering or something, but I'm not sure I want to do that. Okay, we're going to layer this up with this as well. So we're going to have a little 3-layer sentiment and just bring in some of our paper here. What's our size? What do we got going on here? Okay. 2.5. All right. Let's see. That's what I have to wake up to catch Shanna and Daria on mornings. Yeah, yeah, you do have to catch us on Monday mornings. So, and we're scheduled for this upcoming Monday at 10 a.m. So feel free to join in. We're going to continue on our series where we're kind of busting up our kits. Okay, I actually like the sentiment now with that red on there. I think that looks a little nice. And I think golly, what a day kind of goes with oh my goodness, the big bad wolf tried to get me. So we'll just get it laid down on there. And we're going to call this card finished at this point. And we'll get this laid down on there. And then we'll move on to our next card. So I think it's cute. You know, we just darkened it up. You know, it was very simple, easy thing to do, but consider using your scene papers. And I think they make for fun cards. You like that sentiment? Thank you. Yeah, this is a crafty throwback. It's a stamp set that they previously released, and then we're kind of bringing emphasis to that. Golly, what a day. Kimmie says that. And you know what? I was thinking about that as I was thinking about darkening this up earlier this morning, and I thought, you know, it's kind of an evening scene, but it's usually at the end of the day when I'm saying, golly, what a day. After you've had that day or whatever. So if I can find, okay, we've got our other card base, and we have got this. And we also have this that we can use. So we're going to kind of do the same thing, and we're going to cut it down to 3 by 8 inches. And so I just need to go to 3. We're going to cut it. I don't know where my red piece is. I'll cut off that. I think I want to reintroduce red into this scene as well. And I'm going to get a piece of red paper down here. And this is some heavy cardstock I've got here. This is my 8 size. So I need 3. I need to take off 1/2 inch. I don't have a 1/2 inch on this, so I just kind of guesstimate it. Well, I think that's where I get into trouble is I don't know if that edge is exactly 1/2 or what, but how did I do that again? I cut it at 3 instead of 3.5. That's what I did. Okay. Hello. I cut it the same as I cut. I did that same thing the last time. So we'll get it right this time. Whew. It's going to be a day, I can tell. There we go. All right. Everything can be fixed. It's just paper. Hey, Dallas, welcome. So Dallas is part of the Kraftin Kimmie team. I went 3.5. I need to go 3/4. We need 1/4 inch off of this. She is on the team. I don't think, man, I'm having a time. Okay. We're going to just figure this out. I'm going to my picture. I'll be right back. There we go. Oh, no, I don't know what I've done wrong, but we're going to go with it because it's making me crazy. Anyway, we'll just trim down our paper. I have never had so much trouble measuring in all my life. I don't know. I guess, you know, when you do like A2 size cards all the time, you've got all the measurements in your head, you know, that you're going to go, you know, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You're going to go 4 by 5 1/4. You're going to go 3 3/4 by 5. You've got all of those, you know, you've got them all measured, but I don't do slimline cards that much, so I'm failing miserably at it. And that one is crooked, so we're going to go with one that's straight and get it laid down on here. Okay, I think this one's going to work better, actually. Glue it up. I'm going to lay down on it. There we go. I actually got a panel right, finally. Yes, trim the card base. I was thinking about that, but I think we're okay, except we're going to have to trim our pattern paper down now. I think we're okay. So yeah, it's like, oh, struggle. So I've got this at 3 by 8 1/4, and I need this by, I need it to be 2 3/4 by, that's 8. Goes. There we go. Hallelujah. Crazy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've got some scrap paper left over from our cutting. So we've got that. We have this and this, so we can use those on the insides of our cards if we want to do that. So goodness gracious. Kim, you're probably thinking, why in the world did I have Shanna go live this morning? Oh my goodness. I could have done a pre-recorded and it might have been a little bit smoother, but the lives are fun. It's fun to get everybody interacting in the chat, and it is. I mean, honestly, it's real life crafting. I mean, none of us are perfect, and I usually don't make that many mistakes with my paper when I'm cutting them, but sometimes it happens. So on this one, I said I was going to color it a little bit more like the. Let's see. Oh, they're talking about Dallas's daughter went to the prom and she posted a picture and she looked stunning. And that's what they're talking about right now. So fun. Okay, so this one we're going to, like I said, we're going to color. And I've got the same inks that I've used, but I'm going to bring in some gray and black ones because this is a little bit darker dress for Robin Hood than the one I did in this one. This one I did red and white, and I just used some gray to ink blend. And then just use some skin tones, and I used a little pink on her cheeks. So, but we're going to do a lot of it similar, but some of it will be different. I did start off with my, let me make sure, yeah, make sure good. Sometimes the caps look lighter than what they are. So I started off with my lightest, and I'm not going to give you the numbers because I don't have Copic markers. I know some of you use those. These are just fine color markers. And so the numbers aren't going to mean anything to you, but I'm just going to get to coloring on here and we'll get her colored up. And like I said, I like to heat emboss because it just helps you to stay within the lines better. Especially when you're trying to do kind of a quick coloring. So it just creates a little border to kind of keep your color in and kind of keep the tip of your marker in, and it just helps. So any little trick that you can pick up for your coloring is good. I'm going to get this in there. And then we'll just get her cape colored. I should color. I'm going to grab my skin tone. I'm going to get, is this the right one, I think? I'm going to get her skin colored before I get that red on there, just in case there's any bleeding. I don't want it to bleed on her. So we'll get her face colored up and everything before we move on with it. I've already done the red here, but we'll go ahead and get it colored up. Okay, there we go. You can tell I'm getting serious. I'm not talking. Anywho, so let's just get her little cape colored, and then we'll make her dress more of a black and kind of like scene, and she'll match it better. Usually when I'm coloring on a pre-recorded, I speed it up tremendously. So, and I, because it takes a long time to color. I don't think this will take very long, but plus when you speed it up, you kind of can hide a multitude of errors because it goes really fast and people don't notice when you make a mistake as much. So I'll try to be careful. Take your time. You love watching people. I do too, Kim. I think it's very relaxing to watch people color. And I think it's relaxing coloring if you're not rushed and you don't have a camera in front of you. Sometimes I just craft and don't record, and those are the best times because I'm not rushed and I'm just taking my time and just enjoying the hobby. So anyway, this is very, very basic coloring. We'll put a little shadows in there, I think, but for the most part, keep it pretty simple. I guess on that, I'm trying to decide if I want to do that. I might leave that with we might leave a little dark on there. So for her hair, I brought in a red burnt umber because I thought we've got a lot of red on there. So I thought the reddish brown would look good with that. So that's what I did. Actually, I should use black on her because this little gal's got black. And let me grab a black one. And black is always scary. So usually I'll start with a dark gray. And we're going to go over the top of this since I kind of lost track of what I'm doing. Kimmie says we are celebrating International Scrapbook Day with 7 classes featuring Kraftin Kimmie Stamps. Awesome. So if I could find my mouse, pop that up there. Let's turn our banner off. You probably have had enough time to figure out where the Facebook page is. That's why I wanted to include that on there so you could, if you're not part of the Facebook page for Kraftin Kimmie, you could check it out and join the Facebook page. That's where all the details are about the lives today and everything that's going on. So you can check that out. So this is really a gray color, but it looks dark enough, I think, for her hair to match the scene. And because I embossed it, you don't lose the detail in the raised issues in the hair and stuff. So that looks pretty good. Okay. I dropped my lid. So on Heather's live, they were talking about gardening. Have you guys been able to work in your garden lately? I've been working in mine the last few days and really enjoy that. So she has black shoes in this picture. Okay. So I've been really enjoying them. May 3rd through 4th, cards, tags, scrapbook pages, etc. Fun. I know, I can't believe it's almost May either. Now, in the picture, she's got white socks with a little black trim around there. I did red and white on the other one. She had on the picture, the image I was following had red and white striped socks, so I did that way on that one. And I think what we'll do is we'll do the top of this lighter, and then we'll do the rest of it darker. I just have a little bit of dimension there. Yeah, that's not too bad. And then she's kind of got, her apron is kind of gray in the picture. It's actually got polka dots on it. It's a little bit different. I think I'm just going to make her gray. And then we'll make the back part of it's like the apron is here, and then there's a little bit of the dress beside it. So we'll make it black, and then we'll just make this gray, and it'll kind of go a little bit better with the scene. Like that. There. Okay, give her a little black dress. Everybody's mowing their yard. I can hear the mowers outside. Pat got all his mowing done the last couple days, so he's resting today, which he needs to. Okay, and I was thinking that we might make our stripes on here black. And then bring that red back in and color that red. Okay, we missed the skin of her chinny chin chin. Is that what the big bad wolf says? Or that's the three little pigs, I think. I don't know. Where did that marker go? Where did I put this marker? I don't know. I'll just grab this one. This one might be a little bit darker. It is a little bit, but she'll have some shading underneath her neck anyway. Probably some shading around her ears. A little bit around her hair. Where is that marker? I don't know. Okay, let's see if I can find what I'm looking for. I don't know where it went. Okay. All right. So then I took, on this one, I took the darker red and just kind of added a little bit of shading around those areas where there'd be a little bit of darker. Like I said, coloring is not my forte. Some of these areas would be a little bit darker from the shadows. And then we'll come back in into red. Let's see. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Mary. I got Mary Pat. She said, good morning, everyone from sunny Montana. I stayed up super late for Pope Francis' funeral and then fell asleep, which really got my schedule off today. Oh, this card is early. Yes, I saw that he had passed. I didn't know that's when they were having this. I don't watch TV, so I didn't know they were having his funeral on there. I'm glad you were able to stay up and see it and then wake up in time to actually join us here. That's awesome. So I'm just doing some blending with that color just to tone it down a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. And I think it's the black is a better match for the little Red Riding Hood on the paper. And then for this, I'm just going to just kind of darken in some areas on here for our basket. Do some here. And then we'll take our red. Well, let's bring some red back in. That'll be kind of fun. Just trying to make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so I think our coloring is done with that. So everybody's saying hello. It looks like we've got a pretty decent crowd this morning. So I wasn't sure about the time, if everybody would be at lunch or what they'd be doing. So No, let's see. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this fussy cut out. And okay, we've got our other sentiments there. Oops, I missed just a couple spots. This is where I need to bring in my dark red, kind of the underneath of the cape here. There we go. Go around the neckline there too. Oh, I gotta get her. There we go. All right. Bring in some little, just some little pink cheeks for her. And then we'll blend those out a little bit. Just a little bit. That way they're not so brightly pink. All right, let's get to fussy cutting. Now we could use a, a die and just die cut her out, but I'm gonna go ahead and fussy cut her out, and we'll get her laid down there on the card. Fingers aren't working this morning. Hey, Gloria, welcome. Glad you could join us. I'm just working on a couple of slimline cards, which I don't normally work on. So I had quite a comical time cutting the layers because I didn't have the right trimmer in my defense. I needed to use my guillotine instead of the one that only goes to 6 inches. But as you know, because you watch me daily, I mostly just do A2, but these seams were work very nicely with a slimline, so that's what I decided to do. And so we're just getting our second one ready to go. We've got Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, and a basket full of goodies on our way to Grandma's house. It's been a long, long time since I have read the story or the rhyme or whatever it is, and I can't remember all the details. Was she going to Grandma's house with a basket of... Hey, Dawn, welcome. Glad you're here. Dawn probably knows. What was Little Red Riding Hood carrying in her basket, and was she going to Grandma's house? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've read that. And like my grandkids, there's boys, and we read different things. We have dinosaur books, and they're, as you guys know, because I talk about it a lot, they're big into the planets. So I know more about planets than I did when I was in college taking whatever it was, where we had the planetarium and we were in there working. But I know far more now because we watch it every day. So Granny was sick? Was she taking something to Granny for Granny being sick? That could very well be the case. I cannot remember. But I think she was on her way to Granny's house and with a basket of something, I don't know. But the Big Bad Wolf wanted to get her. So now we just need to figure out what we're going to do with this. So we've got that, and we've got some patterned paper strips here. And I think it'd be fun to add to the top and to the bottom. So let's measure again, since I can't seem to get my measuring right. I did 2 3/4. So hopefully I get 2 panels of 2 1/2 here out of this. And I believe we can. And we're going to have a little bit to spare there. And I thought we could just kind of break this scene up a little bit and have these at the top and bottom. I just had 2 strips of 4x8 pattern paper to work with. And so I'm trying to, work with what I have and create some type of a scene with this, so that's what I'm doing. Now, on that other one, I was able to darken her. I'm going to try and see if I can just darken that up a little bit there. That way it doesn't show as much. I think we'll just go all the way around everything and just kind of help to blend in, because I don't have stark white paper there. So I'm just going to try to cover that white with my pen. I don't have that color of a marker, so I'm just going to go with what I've got. And we'll just kind of fill that in and let some of that white kind of blend away. I think I had a hop running this morning at 10. I was so busy I didn't get a look at it, so I'll have to check that out. But I think I have a hop run that ran at 10 today. So definitely gonna have to check that out when I get done here. Okay, so that I think will look all right. It kind of blends in a little bit light, a little bit darker than what that paper is. What have I got here? With that, I'll lighten that just a little bit. Oh, I'm just making my red run. All right. Okay. All right. So let's get these laid down on here. And if we can get our glue running. And we'll just use our pattern strips here and just kind of create these. And then a place to put our little Red Riding Hood in between there. And I'm just eyeballing it. We have some washi tape too that we can use. And we might want to use it on the insides of the cards since I'm using most of the pattern paper here. Let me see. It's on a card. Right here it is. So yeah, I think we're going to have to use it just the way our cards wound up. We're just going to have to use it on the inside of our card. And this will give us a place to put our sentiment down. So we'll go ahead and pop her up just to add some dimension. And get her laid down on there. Just thinking we'll cover that little girl up there and just lay her down on there. I think she's cute. Okay. Now, for our washi tape, we're going to use this on the inside of this card because the dress and everything, it's the pattern that's on this. So we'll just pull this off here and use it on here. If I can get it, hang on, I want to get this laid down to where I can manage it. And I'm going to get it lined up. Boop. There we go. All right. So then we'll just take and trim it off. My sticky scissors. And we've got our washi tape. It's cute. Okay. And then I've got my sentiments over here. Just get it cut down. Turn around. So, a little bit more, a little wider than what I want it to be. Okay. And we'll lay You're Just Right down on the outside of this. Put it there. I think I'm going to put it up there because I could see a little glue spot there. And we've also got, let's just go ahead and use this one as well. We'll put Whistle While You Work down below there. And we'll just have a couple of little sentiments. Whistle While You Work, that makes me think of the 12, what is it, like Sleepy and Snoozy and what am I trying to think of? Let's see what's going on. Dallas, I have seen him. Let's see. She goes, this is Glow. I get talking and then it takes me longer, but I love the interaction of lives. Yeah. Snow White. The Seven Dwarfs. Yes, that makes me think of the Seven Dwarfs, and it probably belongs more on that Snow White sentiment. That's right. But is it Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man, I'm really out of the loop with the, I'm going to go ahead and add it just because I think it looks fun. It's symmetrical or whatever. And yeah, I've forgotten all of my nursery rhymes. So I need to brush up on them. Then we have this piece of pattern paper here. We've got this on this side. I wasn't really drawn to that. That's why I really went with the scenes anyway, because these, I love the red and the green in the papers and stuff. And I really wasn't drawn to this piece here. It could be kind of fun on the inside of this one and just add it, just to have some color. So I think we'll do it since we can use it and just add some fun color to the inside of these cards. So that's what we're going to do. Just get it laid down on there. And then it could be a card for any reason. Just a couple cute cards. So there we have our two slim lines. I've got some more of the sticky tape left over, the washi tape. So that's fun. We've got our colors here. And we finished off our two cards. So like I said, super simple, beginner friendly, beginner coloring, blending, just very simple. And I think they're cute cards. The stamp set is darling. Yeah. Oh, Melissa's back and she's got latte in hand. Kimmie said she's put all the upcoming, I should change that. I've had it on that same. You've put all of the upcoming Throwback Thursday products on sale now too. So you guys are going to want to check it out. I think I linked it up in my description box last night when I was putting everything together. And Stamper Girl wants to know where her latte is. But anyway, so you can check these out and check out Kraftin Kimmie. So Melissa says she doesn't have any of Kraftin Kimmie, so you're gonna have to go check them out. They're really fun. And I wanted to bring in some of my other cards that I used with the stamp set, but couldn't locate them at the moment. But I don't know why, because I have all my cards in one spot. So perhaps somebody took them and used them, or I took them to church or whatever. But anyway, so I think it's super cute. They're simple, but I'm simple, so it works for me. Anyway, so we've been on here an hour and 4 minutes. I think we did pretty good. I want to remind you not to forget to check out the next live that's coming up. I think, what did I say? It was 3 p.m. I've lost my sheet of paper where I wrote it down. But be sure and check out the rest of the lives. Kim, you'll have to help me because I'm not finding my sheet, but we've got another one up at 3 o'clock. Danielle at 3 o'clock. Yes, Danielle at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Is she on the Facebook page? Is that where her live's going to be? Or is she going to be on YouTube? There was one at 9 a.m. as well. So, and you can check that out on the Facebook page as well. So, yeah. So check them out. Anyway, yeah, Heather, 9 a.m. Sorry, brain fog. So check her out. She did a really cute Robin Hood, and she's a fantastic colorist. So you're going to want to check her out on Facebook. And she did a fun fold, so that was super cute too. So we'll have to wait and see what's up next and see what Danielle does. So thanks for watching, and I'll let you guys go, and I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.